All right, Stray. Driving while black, walking while black, golfing while black, swimming while black, napping while black, staying in an Airbnb while black, sitting in a Starbucks while black, bird watching while black. This become a part of our vernacular here. And look, you and I talked about plenty of these stories here. Add to this now, watering your neighbor's plants while black. That's what this pastor was doing, and police were called on him. And now we have this police body cam video that shows how he goes from literally a water hose to handcuffs in just a couple of minutes.
Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you notice that clip that was played just before the start of the video, you will see the general narrative that has been pushed by the media for about the past 10 to 15 years. Now, this is about Pastor Michael Jennings. And I would just like us to take a critical look at this situation. Most of you would have already seen the video of this Pastor Michael Jennings being arrested by police when police was called to a residence where he was watering some plants. And he was arrested. Now, he was said to be watering lawn while black. No, this is a false narrative, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to play a video and just look at the video, and then let's dissect it to see if we can find the truth or the reality of the situation and dissect what really had taken place. Okay? Take a look at this.
What you doing here, man? All right, they saying that, is that your vehicle? No. It's not?
It's the neighbor's vehicle.
The neighbor's?
314, I'll be on 13.
Okay.
10-4.
You live here?
No, I don't live here.
Okay. They saying that this vehicle is not supposed to be here and you're not supposed to be here.
Who's saying that?
They called about it. I don't know who called.
I'm supposed to be here. I'm Pastor Jennings. I live across the street.
You're Pastor Jennings?
Yes, I'm looking out for their house while they gone.
Okay.
Watering their flowers.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Now, do you have like ID and all?
Oh, no, man. I'm not going to give you no ID.
Why not?
I ain't did nothing wrong. And they did
Well,
nothing
look,
suspicious.
listen, I'm not saying do nothing wrong.
Doc, listen,
There's a suspicious person.
Look, I used to be a police officer in Goodwater. Don't come here with that. Okay?
Look, man, don't do this to me. There's a suspicious person in the yard, and if you're not one to identify yourself.
I don't have to identify myself. It's not a stop and identify state. That guy know me. He came to my store that got broke in. I live right over there across the street. Who calls y'all?
That's what we got to figure out. But first,
who calls?
Do you
live
here?
Man
He don't live here.
You think
I'm not saying nothing about.
You have no right to approach me if I ain't did nothing suspicious or nothing wrong.
Listen.
Told him I'm a pastor. I pastor until I don't want to hear you. Sir. You want to lock me up? Lock me up.
Nobody wants to lock you up.
I'm not showing y'all anything. I'm going to continue to water these flowers. I don't care who called y'all. Lock me up and see what happens. I want you to.
Hey man, just come here and talk to us. What?
Water these back flowers is what I'm finna do.
Look, man, let me see your phone. Let me see your phone, dude. Just calm down, okay?
No.
Stop.
I like this.
Okay. We're just trying to talk to you and see.
I don't want to argue with you, okay?
All right, go ahead and do what you got to do, Doc.
You
Do what you got to do. Go on and lock me up.
Look, just have a seat.
It's already
not
a
locked
lawsuit.
up, you're
It's
just-
already a lawsuit,
Yes,
Doc.
sir. Yes, sir.
It's already a
Okay.
lawsuit.
Just have a seat, okay?
Okay, already.
Now, bear in mind, that when the police came up to him and they told him that they had a 911 call, and they were called to area, he said, I understand that. And he stated his name and told him that he lived across the street and that he was looking after the person's house for them. So, naturally, the police said, do you have an ID? And hold on, let me say this. Put yourself for a moment, just put yourself for a moment in the eyes or in the position of a police officer. Now, if you get a 911 call to go to a premises and it is said that on that premises there may be a burglar or a prowler or a home invader or something like that. When you go to the premises and you actually see someone and the person says, oh, I'm just here watering the plants, and oh, I'm just here feeding the rabbits or the ducks, whatever, would you just turn around and walk away as a police officer? Would you walk away? Next thing, would you walk away just because he said I'm a pastor or because he said I'm a lawyer or what? Would you just walk away? That would be very irresponsible. And no policeman, no officer of the law who is there to serve and protect could just walk away. Because let's face it, suppose the policeman had just walked away, and Pastor Jennings was not who he say he was, and he was somebody else who just hold a garden hose as a decoy. No, he would have burgled the house and would have gone, and there would be no one to say how it happened. Now, when this incident would have been reported, the 911 dispatcher could have said, yes, I sent some policemen there. When these policemen were called on to explain what happened, they would say, oh, I saw him holding a garden hose and he said he's a pastor that lives across the street. So we just walked away. Come on, that doesn't make any sense. That is not how police could serve and protect. A real burglar could have been there holding a hose. Let's face it. Okay, so now that we understand that the police had every right, every rational reason as part of their duty to ask for an ID. And when they asked for the ID, and they were very courteous, the response of the pastor was, hell no, there ain't gonna be no ID. And he just very dismissive, aggressive, and he just walked off. It was clear in the video. No one is making this up. He said, I ain't did nothing suspicious, nothing wrong. I told you I'm a pastor. I don't want to hear it. If you want to lock me up, lock me up. In other words, there was a level of belligerency there, and he was confrontational, right? So the officer pleaded with him. It is clear in the video. I'm just going by the video now. The officer said, please, man, don't do this to me. So the officer was extremely conciliatory, begging, in fact. And when the officer said, please, man, don't do this to me, what did Pastor Jennings, what was his response? Oh, no, I ain't going to give you no ID. Do what you going to do. Lock me up. So you see, his confrontation continued. His belligerency continued. And the police responded like this. We're just trying to talk to you, man. Come here. This is after he just dismissed them like a little bug on his shoulder, boxing it off, and he just walked away past them as if they are not even human. And then he said, when they said, we're just trying to talk to you, man. Come here. He responded again, I'm not showing you anything. If you want to lock me up, lock me up. I don't care. Who called you all? Lock me up. I want you to. Do it. Do it. That was what that was how he went on. And during this time, the police were not confrontational. They were simply trying to beg and plead with him. Just cooperate with us. Don't make our job so difficult. Please, just help us out here. And then when they had no option but to cuff him, at that point, what would any policeman do? Just walk away? Come on, that makes no sense. So when they locked him up, what did he say? I like this. I like this. That was his response. Now, he said, I told you I was here watering the flowers. How do I? So the policeman said, how do I know that's the truth? He said, I had a water hose in my hand. No, does that make sense? So, in other words, when a burglar is burglarizing a house and the police are called, all the burglar has to do is to take up a water hose and hold a water hose in his hand and all the police has to do is just see him as not being a burglar and just walk away. That's what this pastor is saying. Now, does that make sense to anybody? And when he said it, he had this smirk on his face. He was smirking because he knew it was bull manure. And therefore he smirked because he knew he was taking the police for a ride. And he knew he was manipulating them into doing what they were doing. Because he knew they had no choice. They couldn't just walk away just based on his word. Yeah? So that is clear that this man was just expressing a deep level of resentment for law and order, and seemed like a certain level of hatred for the police. And then again, the police was well within their rights to ask for an ID. Because under Alabama law, because this happened on the 2nd of May 2022 in Alabama. And the police have a right to ask for an ID in cases where they reasonably suspect that a person may be in the act of committing a crime. And the fact that these policemen were called by a 911, received a 911 call to go to this specific address, it speaks to the fact that yes, they have reasonable cause to go there and check it out. And they shouldn't just take a person's word for it. So, by right, the police was well within their rights. Also, look at his face after he was cuffed and was taken to the vehicle. Did you see? Look at that. Look at the smirk on his face. This man looked as if he had just won some major battle. He seems as if he had won some prize. It's like it's game, set, and match. Just look at him, like the cat that just ate the canary. I mean, this guy has he has the look of a person who have just made a major coup. Yes, he realized that he had set up the police, pushed them into a corner, causing them to act in the only way possible, and now it's game, set, and match. Look carefully. Is this something that everybody who watched the video saw? Look.
Listen to me, man. Listen to me. Anytime the police come out and they say, we want to identify you, you have to identify yourself because there's a reasonable suspicion, there's a reasonable man, there's a vehicle. There's a reasonable suspicion that you're here. There's not a crime. Yeah, if you would have said, yeah, here's my name, here's everything, we were like, okay. I told
him my name.
You didn't tell me your name.
I decided, he asked me who I was. I said,
you didn't give it to me when I first asked.
Pastor Jennings.
That's not a name. That's a pastor. Yeah. I need your name.
The way y'all handle this situation was totally wrong.
Well, listen.
You're racial profile.
We're not racial profile. Yes, no, sir. No, sir. We're not about that.
I told you I was here watering the flowers.
How do I know that's the truth?
Because I had the water hose in my hand. I was watering all the flowers.
Anybody can pick a hose pipe up.
He is going to be so pissed when I tell him I got arrested watering his flowers.
But listen to this. A very pious Michael Jennings afterwards got on a TV station and he said in an interview, I kept wondering to myself, why is this happening? I was thinking that if I did something wrong or if I resisted, that I would have been shot. I tried to cooperate, even though I did not understand what was going on.
Jennings spoke to GMA about the ordeal.
It was kind of surreal at that moment because I'm wondering, why is this happening? I was thinking if I did something wrong or resisted, that I could have been shot. So I was trying to cooperate, even though I didn't understand what was going on. I was agitated, I was angry, but I knew to come.
Really, Pastor Jennings? You did not realize, you did not understand why this was happening? It was happening because you were confrontational to the police, because you refused to cooperate with the police by just simply showing them that you had a right to be on the premises and to set their mind at ease that no illegal act was being committed by your presence, and you failed. So that was why this is happening. I was thinking that if I did something wrong or if I resisted, I would have been shot. So why were you resisting the need to show an ID? Why were you acting so belligerent? And you didn't know you did something wrong? You said, I tried to cooperate even though I did not understand what was happening. How you mean? I mean, you don't understand. What do you mean you tried to cooperate? Wouldn't cooperating with the police mean showing an identification card? Well, let me tell you something, Pastor Jennings. If you really, really wanted to cooperate with the police and you wanted to bridge gaps between the police and the citizens, you would have been in the forefront of going up to saying to the police, listen, I'm going over to my house, I'm going for my ID, hold on a minute, and when they come back, you show it to them, you put your arms around these two men and tell them God loves you and I'm inviting you to church service on Sunday. That is what a real pastor would have done. A real pastor would not try to build confrontation and extend the gap between the police and the citizens. They would try to build bridges. You didn't know such thing. And now you come, you want compensation? Really? No, but it goes further. Look at the hypocrisy. Look at the hypocrisy. Look at Harry Daniels. Harry Daniels is a lawyer of Pastor Jennings. And this is what Harry Daniels said. Listen to this. He said, the dispatcher took the 911 caller's word as the gospel truth. But a pastor who preaches the gospel, they could not take his word at all. Unquote. Now, listen to me. How should this 911 dispatcher take a caller's word? When a dispatcher gets a 911 call, how should they take the word? Should they take it as a mere prank? Should they take it as a lie? A man is dying of gunshot wounds on the ground and he called 911 call. What is the first response or the first thought in the dispatcher's head? Should it be that it's a prank call or should it be that it's a gospel truth? Shouldn't they take it by default that it is the gospel truth and check it out? Then if they find that there's nobody dying or whose life is in peril or no injury or no fire, then they say, okay, that one was not true. So you think, Pastor, you think, Harry Daniels, that the 911 call should not be taken as the gospel? Really? Okay, I understand. And you consider yourself a pastor. And the next thing you said, you don't see why they should take the 911 caller as gospel truth over the word of a pastor who preaches the gospel. And you said they would not take his word at all. No, I'm going to say something to you, and you go do some research on this. You, Harry Daniels, top-notch lawyer. Every single year in the United States of America, 27 pastors get convicted for crimes in the United States. 27, and that's average of 27. So somewhere between 20 and maybe 35 are convicted every single year in the United States of America. And these crimes ranges from child molestation, pedophilia, rape, embezzlement, bigamy, and even murder. So if you think that you want to take the word of a pastor over a 911 caller, then you are the one who have who is getting it twisted. Okay? So remember that. So this thing about watering lawns while black and driving while black and all things while black, this is just about an antisocial pastor who is trying to make a point and showing his BLM credentials and proving that to other BLM people. And this is simply how he chose to do it. And chances are This man manipulated the police and manipulated the system to get them exactly where he want. What his motives are, I don't know. And I don't even know if the police were set up further and the person who made the 911 call was part and parcel of the whole scheme, because it could possibly be there. But let me know what you guys think. But that is how I'm looking at this situation. But all in all, this man should not be up there and preaching to people, because he thinks that just because he puts on a chemise and go up a chemise with frilly cuffs and frilly hem and have on this white chemise and go in front of a pulpit, that makes his word law, or that makes him right, or that makes him to be a fair, balanced, reasonable, and social individual with any civic pride. Because despite putting on that chemise with the frills, he is still a despicable human being. Now, like, share, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Looking forward to see your comments on this.